Hello, my name is Adam Cruz, and the topic that I chose to research about is how social media has affected sports journalism. The reason why I chose this topic is because I love sports, engaging in sports talk, researching players and teams, and essentially understanding how social media has impacted the sports realm and sports journalism as a whole. The three main topics I'm going to talk about today are professionalism, quantity and quality, and athlete driven media. My first source that I'm going to talk about was provided by Sarah Reed. Her title of the article is American Sports Writers' Social Media Use and Its Influence on Professionalism. This study basically tries to determine how social media's influence has impacted the journalism practice, as well as complicating the definition of professionalism. Professionalism should be about generating stories that meet community and organizational needs, verifying sources to make sure that they're accurate and truthful, gatekeeping information by filtering it to the public, and impartiality, which is not being prejudiced towards or against any side. And this is where the journalist must rise above their own personal perspective to deliver comprehensive and authoritative coverage of news. Social media poses as a potential threat to professionalism because the degree and kind of participation allowed in online spaces challenges news organizations to reassess their established boundaries. Social media, however, embodies gathering and communication instead of just disseminating, which is distributing it widely and spreading the public their news, which may threaten journalistic standards. So you have social media where you can be brutally honest, post whatever you'd like, and the quantity of all these people, and then you have professional journalists who have rules and obligations and can't really engage as people can on social media. And this is where age brings a massive difference into the idea because millennials and the younger generations have pushed social media where it's not just in sports journalism, but all career paths around the map. And that's why professionalism has taken a hit now that social media is so widely used. Journalists are losing the connection that they have with their audience due to Twitter and Facebook, which allow anyone to be a journalist, which brings the issue of quality and quantity. David Petty wrote an article, How Social Media is Destroying the News. In 2015 and 2016, 62% of individuals received their news via social media. Google and Facebook accounted for 75% of all digital ad dollars. The New York Times said that they made 85 cents for every dollar, and that this accelerated, not moderating, leaving all publishers to fight over the 15 cents. That article also states that news businesses can't afford to ignore platforms like Facebook and Twitter, that the algorithm that powers those networks incentivizes journalists to tilt more toward conflict, emotion, and sensationalism, which is using exciting and shocking stories or language at the expense of accuracy, which in a result is risking the reputation of the brand. These journalists want to post their story before anybody else, but they're not really looking at how accurate the information is. Same with people on social media. Everybody's just trying to get their own story and their own word out and not really looking at what the public needs to hear. Which is why this dynamic is wreaking havoc on the politics of journalism. For example, eyewitnesses can tweet pictures from scenes where professional journalists are not always present. People who are victims of oppressive regimes can publish text videos and photos from the world's conflict zones instantaneously, bearing witness as citizen journalists and allowing the masses to see and consume history unfiltered. The quality described in these articles with journalism is astonishing. Due to the quantity and the mass of journalism, reports, and ideas as a society that we receive, we're getting it 24/7. We used to have to wait 24 hours to hear a story, but now we receive it instantly from multiple sources and not knowing if the truth behind it all until later. So in the beginning, journalists used to gather, sort, and then report. Now they gather, report, and then sort later. Or in today's age, they tweet, blog, and then write a story. Which is why now the athletes have taken it upon themselves to cut out that middleman, cut out the reporters, and engage with athletes on their own level and write their own story from it from their own perspective. And that's where my article by Jasneel Chadha comes into place, where he talks about the new face of social media. And this article traces the history, importance, key players, predictions, statistics, conclusions, and implications of athlete-driven media and the companies. This year in 2019, the sports industry is projected to reach $73.5 billion. There's 4 major online articles that are provided by athletes, one of them being the Players Tribune, which was created by Derek Jeter, star baseball athlete of the New York Yankees. All of these stories come in first person with daily conversations, podcasts, videos, and player polls. Then you have Uninterrupted, which was created by LeBron James, star basketball player of the Los Angeles Lakers, which gives you a behind-the-scenes look on athletes with short video clips from phones, documentaries, video content, or entertainment. Thirdly, you have ACE, which is the Athlete Content and Entertainment Media, which was created by the NFL Players Association, which gives a sports lifestyle content across all genres and platforms of the sports industry. Lastly, you have Unscripted, which was created by Andre Agassi, professional tennis player, Nike executives Brent Scrimshaw and Ben Crow, and BuzzFeed CRO Andy Weidland. These are unfiltered articles from athletes through videos that show real sides of athletes and an inside look into their lives. So essentially moving forward into writing my research paper, I'm going to first talk about Sarah Reed's point on professionalism and how social media basically cuts out those cues that journalists would normally use. And then I'm going to kind of focus my way into talking about the mass quantity of articles that are being published, as well as the quality, because they're not taking accurate information. They're waiting until the last minute to figure that out and post that. And then I'm going to lastly talk about athlete-driven media and how the athletes are starting to basically diminish the career of journalism by taking it into their own hands and communicating with the audience and posting real stories from themselves, quoting themselves, and essentially just coming to a point that journalism might it's already no longer what it used to be, but it soon will start to be something possibly in the past. And I will talk more about that in my research paper. So thank you. Goodbye.